guys, and we're back with part 2 of our two-part series, or I should say last part of our two-part series of our Redstone Gates and tutorials. This will be covering a lot of them. Well, I said 10 and 10, but it's actually 10 and 14, I think. Now we have the pulse limiter, the or shortener pulse sustainer, falling edge detector, dual edge detector, ABBA switch, bud switch, T-bud, counter, shift register, double piston extender, last detector or selector, first detector, randomizers, and instant wire. We might not get through all those, but hopefully we do. So let's get into it. So I remember last time we didn't build this, but we left off on our clocks. And what we need to build now is our pulse limiter. Now, what pulse limiters do, it's a monostable circuit that makes the pulse shorter, so it limits the pulse. This is built like, actually, that what I just destroyed was that. Oops. So let me put this in my inventory. Put that. I don't need that yet. Okay, so we have our input here that for you to find earlier, and then we have our. I should probably get the black wool too. Yeah. Okay. And we have black wool here. This is the start of a monostable circuit, but then we have the output over here, and then we should probably grab our redstone. And so it goes over on top of this, so it will turn off this torch, and it, see? And if we get a button or lever, power it, it should make that. Oh, I should probably get a button. Oh yeah, ooh, I forgot something. There we go, here we go. We have this set on to 3, or press it 2 times, twice, which is also known as 3, because, and so now if we turn it on, it should turns that into, well, I wouldn't really call it turning into a button, because a button doesn't go on that fast, but it's just shortening it. Next we have our pulse sustainer, which makes it longer. There's a very basic version just using I should say repeaters. So this, and this, and nope, get up there. Okay, there we have grab redstone, and here, so I think this goes, yeah, and then what we have here is this, and have this, but we need to turn off this so we can do that. Okay, so make sure you have this being power going into here, or else it won't work. It'll just reverse it. So we have it coming, this will be our output, so let's say we need something right there. Okay, so now we have out of the blue. Okay, so make sure they're facing out of blue. Wait, is that? That's 4. Let's put 5, and then now we can just make it super long. Usually, it don't matter. You can just extend them how long ever you want. Now let me get my lever. Lengthen that pulse, and then nope, it's off. The reason it's doing because it turns that, and then it turns that on, but it usually wouldn't last that long. I guess using a button would be better to use in that situation. So now we have our falling edge detector. What a falling edge detector, it makes a pulse when the input changes. So as known from logic gates, make changes from when the input changes from 1 on or to off 0. So we have right here our output, and then we have our 2 blocks here, and then we have our 2 input blocks right here actually. Let's grab that. And we have these going into here. These are set on 2 or clicked 1 time, and then so we have this right here, right there, Make sure you place those first. Well, actually, that doesn't matter actually here, because they'll turn off anyways. And so, I guess if we power this, look. But I think, yeah, that's how it should work. And that's that. Now we have our dual edge detector. So we're working with a lot of monostable circuits. So this is a monostable circuit that makes a pulse when the input changes from on to off, as well as vice versa. So actually we need some pistons for this. Let me take my hopper out and grab that. Okay, so these are all sticky pistons too, by the way. One there, and that's going to be pushing this. And so here, and even there we go. And we have our hink here. That should have that. Yeah, wait, on the ground. Now we have our repeater facing into here and set to 3, or right clicked 2 times. We have another one facing this way, clicked once or 2. Right clicked once and equal to 2 ticks. So then we have redstone here, there we go. It's dual edge detector. Now we have Now we have our ABBA switch. Some of you guys might notice this. There's a couple of different versions, so I'll try to do what I did with the clocks and hence with the more familiar ones. I try building all the versions so I get all of them right. As I said in the other video, if you guys have versions that you use that I don't use, feel free to post them in the comments. And these are all set to 1, or I should say 2, and right clicked once. And then we have, those are facing that way, and now we have to put all of them facing this way. Now, and these are also set to 2, or right clicked once. And now we don't put any dust on the other side, or on the end here, over here I meant. But we put it here, here, and here, and these will be our inputs. I should actually delete these, our inputs. There we go. Now this turns, in logic gates you can refer to input and output and changes to A and B. So this turns the output in one order, but turns them off in opposite order. So if it's open, A, and then if it's open B, close B, and close A. Might be a little confusing, but if you've studied your logic gates, it makes sense. Now we have our bud switch. There's a lot of versions of this. Actually, before I go into bud switches, I want to build a few more versions of the ABBA switch. There's vertical, actually. The rest are just vertical. I won't build any of those. So right now, I won't build any furnaces or bad bud switch. I'll build a regular redstone bud switch. It's really original. It's called a bud array. So what you do here, I'm gonna need a redstone block actually, and I don't think I use this one. Okay, so I think this goes like this, facing. Where am I? Okay, need to know where I am. That facing. I'll go with this. Oopsie, that wasn't working. There we go. Now we have a redstone block here, but this is getting pushed by piston, but not being pushed yet. So we have this, but we have this going up here, so we can. I think it goes like this. That might be it. Hopefully I did that right. I think it's where you place. Yeah. Okay. to replace it, any block I think connect that touches the yeah, if it touches the piston, it'll produce a block update, or kind of 2/3 of the block update detector in BUD. That's one basic one that's very I should say commonly used. So there's that, kind of built that far away. But here's another one that looks that is also used with comparators, since we should use them while we have them. I actually need a chest for this one, I think. Let me take that, and then I think there's redstone up here. Yeah, I think there's redstone. Then I think I need to put a block in here. Still no redstone. Yeah, that's also another version of it. I'm gonna take my redstone back. It's also another version of it. The number of items you put here depends on the signal that comes out. So, as in like, this also detects more than block updates to detect. It seems to detect tile need changes in the block. So if you change tile need data, you can, as I said earlier, you can change the amount of blocks in there. But let's move on to T-Bud. T-Bud, it's toggles the output when certain blocks receive an update. So it's equivalent to hooking up a bud switch to a T flip-flop. So it'd be like if we hooked up this to our T flip-flop over here, I think. Here. No, that's our D flip-flop. Here's D flip-flop. So if we hooked up that to that. And then our output would be technically be the input of that. So let's build this. Bam. I'll actually get closer to this. We don't have to waste space. Bam. This is a stairway right here. And then we have it go back here. Oops. Up one, and then okay, and then we have this set to 0 here. And then I think it goes like this block is not supposed to be here. I'm setting it so I can do that. And then there should be redstone dust here. Okay, there we go. Let me yeah. This might be weird because of the new version, but okay, now we have a counter, or there's multiple versions. There's monodirectional, unidirectional, bidirectional. There's a bunch of them. There's a three-state binary, unary. There's tons of them. So I'll actually make a separate video dedicated to counters, or like maybe individually by bidirectional and certain ones. So hopefully you can skip that, and I'll create the video to get it out as soon as I can. Also, I'm working on the command block video too, so if you guys can see that. Since we're not doing that, hopefully I can get the shift register, because those are kind of complicated too. But I might be able to do this. Okay, so looks like these might be I don't know about shift registers. Okay, how about this? I'll create a video dedicated to shift registers and counters, since those are big contraptions. I think they are defined by how many counters and registers you want to make, so how many blocks you want to count. And depends if you make it bidirectional or monodirectional. So I'll make that video and hopefully get it out after this one, so we can actually move on to the piston extender, which is very simple because you just have to power one piston and then delay the power to the next. So what we have here, I should grab our input block that we have over here so we can make this look correct. Actually, I don't need command blocks in my inventory for this. So we have our input here. Actually, set this there. So import is technically defined as these. And since that can be pushed, we need to actually push. Okay, so this is actually going to push both of them. But since, okay, it's important that you set this to 4 or right click it 3 times and set this to 2. The first one actually doesn't matter, but the second one does because it needs to be shorter. Needs to be delayed longer than the rest. And then the last one, it's powering this after it's been powered. So, bam. So after it's been moved, it needs to be powered. So that's a very simple double piston extender. Those are really simple. Now, like if you're doing the last detector for, like, see who's the last person to do something, and like if you need the people to all people to detect if they're doing something, this is what you need to build. I think it goes 4 high is the block. Oops. I think that's how you get it. Also, if you guys are wrong, please, if I'm wrong, please correct me on this. Cause I hope I'm getting all these right. That looks right so far. Okay, so I think it goes like this. And then I think these 0. This one faces this way. Then there should be dust here, and then these face this way. Input's coming from over there. That faces that way. Should be torch here, but there should also be dust here. Which should, make sure, if you're gonna build this and have it connected to the circuit over here, turn this off here. I recommend connecting here because when you place these blocks, it depends which one you place first. So if you have this here and this here, it's gonna power it because you're not delivering power, and this is turning that off. But if you put it here and then put the dust here, and it powers it off, and then it's gonna put a short beat. So after it does that beat, I recommend putting the torch on. So yeah. Only remembers the last input, and it resets all the other inputs after it's been done. So now this is kind of the opposite. So if you're doing for the first person to do something, so you let's say reward them, and it will ignore all the other ones too. I think here's I have a few versions in my head. Might be a simpler one, I think, in my head. Yeah, I think I can do this. I go bam, 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 and then I put the output right here, I think. And then there should be, I think, glass block. Take that back. Now there should be one up here. Nope, up here. And that should be going to a block up here. And this should be going down one above the repeater. This should be set 1, 2. Right click 2 times or 3 ticks. And then have this go 1, 2 right here, which might be wrong. So let's set this here. Yeah. Set this here first, because this will power this off. And then we have this going in here. That's set to 0. This is set to 3. And our redstone dust here. And then this might go, I think it goes here. Or it might go This actually might be wrong, I think. No, I think I had it right. Oops, wrong block. Okay, so that should be set there. And then I think I have my, yeah, that should be set like that. No, because that just powers that. I think. Oh, there's also a block here. Things are very faint in my head. Oh, okay, I built this whole thing wrong, I think. Well, I built it relatedly wrong, so it was somewhat close. There's actually another set below it, so I missed that. So let me get in. Bam. I think this connects here. Yeah. There we go. And I think there's one here. This face is in here. Oops. This face is in here. Set it to 3 or right click it 2 times. This is set to 0. Or technically 1. This goes up 1. I had all these wrong. There should be a block above this. And then I should get, probably get the glass back. And then bam, we went 2, 1, 2, and then I think I can go bam. It's set to that, and that's set to 0. Oops, oops. And then we have our output here, like as we also had back like in our original. Oops. Here we go. That's it. It's a first detector. Because once you do it, it powers that, and then it powers this, which puts a constant power to this one, which will just ignore any others until you reset it. Now we are going to move on to randomizers. I think there's a few ones, so I'm going to build a pulse generator, a random pulse generator, and then a random output, with torches. So for the pulse generator, I'll put this, that. I think this one was also designed by Seth Bling, if you guys know him. I'm joking, you guys know him. Who doesn't know him? I think there's also a piston here. This is gonna be powered, so bam. Oop, oh, oh, oh. Can you? Oh, I know I did wrong. I think output's here. I think that's how we do it. Oh no, I put the output in the wrong spot. The output goes here. Here. Yeah. Okay, now I have that done. I need to figure out why this. Oh. Yeah, this looks right. I don't know why that isn't staying power. Well, I know why that's happening. But I think I'll just leave that for now. You guys can actually look at the link I'll put in the description for most of them. I remember there's a giant list of these. Now, I think this is kind of useless now. But since in the new update they kind of fixed the, I guess, quickness of the, I should say, how fast redstone lights up. So that's instant wire, I guess. We're kind of building instant wire. But now, in the new update, they fixed that. We kind of don't really need this. But just in case you're building stuff in the old one, or if you have an old server, if you guys do stuff like that, here's one for you. Seems like that. Is this 3? Or right click it 2 times. Set a redstone dust up here. And then your output will be, let me grab the block. Your output will be connected to this last block right here. So this actually must be lever right here. Connected here. Oops. So, kind of depends on switching here. It's actually kind of a little bit faster, I think, the update. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know, you guys can decide. Anyways, that is the end of our second or final part of our 2-part tutorial of basic redstone gates and circuits.